الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وموالاه. My fellow brothers and sisters and families in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our Monday night series on what lies beyond problems, hidden blessings. We are continuing our journey in this series because I personally feel it is so important for us to reanalyze how we define things. And that is the subject matter today in our book, Hidden Blessings. And before we get to the subject matter of today and the discussion of today, inshallah, I just want to share with you and I a very simple question. What in my terminology is defined as a problem and what is defined as a blessing? What in my vocabulary is defined as good and what is defined as bad? I'm going to leave yourself and myself with that question. I don't expect that you answer it immediately at this time because it's practically impossible for us to dig down deep and answer that question in an adequate way within the next few seconds or minutes. So in respect of that, the reason I'm asking this question is you will know and you'll realize actually if you ask this question to your fellow family members and all of you take time to present the answer and then you cross-reference the answer, you'll realize something very quickly, that each and every human being on the face of this earth has their own definition, criteria, and of course their own vocabulary when it comes to these things. Again, what is a blessing? What is a problem? What is good? What is bad? We all have our own human-made definitions. Now, why so do we have different definitions? Because it is an accumulation of both expectations and history. The history of our life. How did I grow up seeing things? And of course, how that will help mold how I see things today. In the same fashion, what are my expectations? First of all, expectations are always a killer, irrespective of how we see them to be. There's no such thing as a right expectation and a wrong expectations. Expectation is the one ingredient when you put it into anything, you could start seeing a disaster. So nevertheless, history and expectations mold through time and space how we see problems and blessings, how we see good and bad. And if you understand that, I hope that pause in that moment will serve as a moment of reflection for all of us, because now we have an important task in front of us. Either we can be adamant in our ways and our understandings, or we can scale back and try to find a common ground. And that's exactly what Sheikh Ashraf Ali Thanwi rahimahullah is telling us in Wisdom Part 3. We are in this segment of our series, and if you recall, there are 40 wisdoms that will be conveyed to us through this book, and the goal and the hope is when we complete all 40, inshallah, when the question is posed once again, what lies beyond problems, you and I would respond unanimously with confidence, what is a problem? I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we see the world for what it is and we see our situations from a much broader and bigger lens. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So wisdom number 3, Bismillah, is written here today, and that's what we're going to go through. It's short, it's not too long, but of course, spending time with all of you on a weekly basis with this subject matter is truly an honor. So I appreciate once again your participation. For those who join us live every Monday night and Tuesday night and Thursday night and Friday night and Saturday night, and for those who due to some reason cannot join us live but follow up later at a later time and watch the videos that are archived both on our Facebook and on our YouTube. Wisdom number 3, trials and tribulations as a manifestation of love. Once again, trials and tribulations as a manifestation of love. It's a statement. The statement has been used as a title. Can you and I ever in our life acknowledge trials and tribulations to be the manifestation of love? The answer is, inshallah, yes, we can. Hakim al-Ummah rahimahullah said, for the seeker and lover of Allah, both suffering and comfort are divine bestowals. And I'm going to repeat his words. These words, by the way, that have been compiled in this book, Hidden Blessings, are from a much broader library. If anyone has heard from those who are of the previous generation, including myself, of Mulana Ashraf Ali Thanwi, rahimahullah, he has written numerous books on various subject matters, all pertaining to life and perfection of one's life, and embodying great qualities in one life while extracting the negative traits from our life. He's an amazing, wise scholar, rahimahullah. He's one of the two role models and icons I grew up admiring, one being Chief Justice Mufti Taqi Uthmani. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve his life with goodness. And one was Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanwi rahimahullah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put light in his grave. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So there's going to be in each gem of wisdom a small quote from one of his many books, and then the commentary will expand on the wisdom that he presented. Going back to his wisdom, and I quote, for a seeker and lover of Allah, both suffering and comfort are divine bestowals. The seeker does not differentiate between the two. Just as he is in peace and contentment when in comfort, he remains in peace and contentment during trials and tribulations. Consider that sometimes a host simply serves his guest plain rice, while at other times he serves him with a delicacy. Whichever dish the host presents, it is out of love and respect for his guest. Thus, both meals should be equally appreciated, since the serving of both dishes are the same in terms of hospitality, i.e., what is behind the act. No guest would venture to complain, why have I been served a single dish? Or why was I only served rice? Nor would anyone consider the serving of either dish to be disrespectful, end quote. Now, there's so many things I want to say on this. First of all, Imam Ashraf Ali Thanwi rahimahullah is stating, as I said, both suffering and comfort are divine bestowals. If you and I tonight can understand that the blessings we have is a divine gift, we need to use that same understanding for our trials and tribulations. I don't have it yet. I want it. I'm sure you want it. And that's why we're doing this together here. In addition, that a person who finds peace in comfort, in blessings, good health, in affluence, in prosperity, in family, in job, to find that same happiness in trials, in tribulations, in hardship, in illnesses, in sickness, in poverty. He's asking us to find the same response for the both. He's not asking us to be bitter for good as we are bitter for wrong. Rather, he's telling us to be grateful for the good and grateful for what we define to be wrong. Matter of fact is, it's in the absence of this mindset that today people are not even happy with blessings. Anything they receive, they're just not happy. It goes to show that, subhanallah, happiness is also losing out. We are losing out on gaining a sense of happiness and gratitude when something is given good to us. And that is a sign of spiritual deterioration that's now plaguing our moral and mental compass. It's very dangerous. May Allah protect all of us and turn that clock back so that we are not plagued with this virus completely that irrespective of something is good or bad, we are always agitated and irritated. May Allah protect one and all. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. He says, for example, he gives a very good example here. Someone with whom you have um, a very conducive, caring, and comprehensive relationship. You understand each other. There's no more formalities between the two of you because you've known each other for so long. One is you go to someone's house for an invitation, then there's a lot of formalities, how the food is served, where you sit, blah, 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 because it's a one off event. Where someone you know, you could walk into their house and say, okay, food's ready in the kitchen, you have to dish it out from the pot. We didn't put in those Corningware dishes, nor do we put those fancy trays with candles underneath them. No, it's very simple. No formalities. Neither does the host deem those formalities to be important, nor does the guest see that those formalities are incumbent. It's okay, who cares? Even if the food is in the fridge, they both will gladly and happily warm it up and just eat it. Why? Because this relationship has grown where formalities are no more. If you are friends with someone or you have a connection of sort with someone, are you still upholding formalities? If you are, if you cannot see them but in a full nice attire, and for sisters with full makeup or brothers who are well groomed to go with their friends, it's not like a night out with friends. No, it's just a need. We have to eat. You stop by at someone's house, you know them good enough, you eat whatever there is, and you never complain. Sadly, even if it's those one off dawats, everyone's got a comment. I don't say a complaint, everyone's got a comment to pass. Food was too less, food came too late, food was too hot, food was too spicy, food was too bland, and yada, yada, yada. It just never ends. So understand that irrespective of how distant that relationship is and how honorable you feel that they invited you, people always walk away with comments. But again, a relationship that's been ongoing, complaints become non-existent. So he gives this example for us to reflect on. We should have such a conducive relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in such a rooted relationship with Allah, we shouldn't be complaining anymore. There should be no formalities in the sense like, oh, Allah didn't give me the food He gave me yesterday. No, we understand each other now. Allah knows our needs, but we should understand His wisdom behind His decree. If that has not happened yet, then my relationship with Allah, with all respect, is like that one off dawat that happens once in a year by someone we barely know. They invited us because maybe our kids know their kids, or because we're someone in the community new, or whatever the case may be. And that's what it should not be. The reason it's so hard for me to understand Allah's decree for me, and I'm always juggling between Allah doing good with me or doing bad with me, or blessing me or throwing a problem at me, is because my relationship with Allah has not reached the level it should. Now, the commentary on this quote is the following. We can learn from this perspective that if we consider hardship and difficulty to be one dish, and comfort and enjoyment to be another, we will accept both of them from our beloved host willingly and happily. You see, you in your life personally may say, I don't want to just eat rice, I want to eat biryani. Or I don't want to eat just rice, I want to eat maqluba, whatever it is. If you consider that for yourself a standard, when it comes to someone else preparing it for you, you'd consider both of them to be a blessing. We also come to learn that it is not common to be served delicacies all the time. Sadly, that's a problem here in America, where back home, it is so hard to even get the bare minimum. I was speaking to my mother the other day, who spoke to a relative in Pakistan who said, Bengan, I think it's uh, I don't know what to say that is in English. It's a type of vegetable. Someone could comment below for those who don't know what it is. Was 200 rupees, I think, per pound or something, which is expensive for those people. Yeah, for us, it's like maybe what, not even I don't know, 50 cents or something. But yes, it's expensive for those people. So we live in a world still today where people walk to get water, where people hunt for their food or they fish for their food. They go to great lengths But unfortunately, I want to say unfortunately, and this is the reason I'm saying it's unfortunately. Unfortunately, we are so spoiled that we don't even know the difference between delicacy and blessing and needs and necessities. It's just like, you know what? Meat is common. If you don't have eggs for breakfast, there's a problem. If there's no milk in the house, there's a problem. Guess what? People may not have milk every day or eggs every day around the world. Most of the population does not. And so, going back to this, on the commentary, he explains that you may have your standards and you have the right to have your standards. And however you want to adjust your standards, that's totally up to you. But if someone was to provide what in your standards is a bit less, you wouldn't complain because you see that they're providing you that is a blessing in itself. And he also says that we don't expect delicacies at all time, and I will say we should not expect delicacies at all time. Now, are we talking about food here, Imam? No, we're talking about blessings. We should not expect every day to be better than the former day in what we saw to be good for us. It is always good for us. It's always better for us. The next day is always better than the former day from Allah. But how we receive it, how we perceive it, how we embrace it, how we accept it, how we acknowledge it goes down to that criteria that we've made for ourselves. He states Maulana Rumi rahimahullah calls people who are heedless of Allah spiritually immature. Now, I know a lot of people who quote Rumi, even non-Muslims read up on Rumi and his poetry and his spirituality. But understand one thing here. He stated, those who are heedless of Allah are spiritually immature. Why? Because they are like children who do not understand why they are receiving this therapeutic but painful injection. Take, for example, an injection. Many of us are anticipating to take a flu shot this year because flu season and, of course, COVID. Many people are hoping for a COVID vaccine so that this trial from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be something that we can maneuver in a more better fashion, irrespective of your belief in vaccines or not. No one walks in there smiling for a vaccine. It hurts. It stings for a bit. It may give you a low grade fever thereafter. Whatever the case is, it's not something nice. Just like a child who goes in for a vaccination will cry before, cry during, and cry after the vaccination, they may be upset, they may scream and say things like, why is the doctor doing this to me, or why did you take me to the doctor to do this, you hate me or I hate you. Many times the kids will say, I hate you, mommy, why'd you take me for this injection? They don't know the good that's in it. And again, I'm not going into vaccinations here. They just don't understand the broader good behind it. And so in the same way, Allah gives us injections in times in our life. No one has an injection-free life. Matter of fact, babies are given injection from the day they're born. And every time they go to school, sixth grade, seventh grade, there's requirements for different injections that they have to take. Their immunization records have to be complete and it has to be up to date. If not, then they're not allowed to come to school. We understand this. We understand the pain behind it. We understand the process behind it. But those who have the broader understanding don't complain. So Imam Rumi rahimahullah states, this is called spiritual immaturity when people don't understand the greater good. And so that being said, every difficulty we undergo is tailored. I want you to remember this word. Every difficulty we undergo is tailored by our beloved Allah for us, if we would only be patient. Subhanallah. Think about this. Every difficulty that you go through, I didn't go through. Every difficulty I'm going through, you haven't gone through. We may have the same types of difficulty, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caters and tailors it for us specifically, subhanallah. This is not like Walmart. You go in and you buy Hanes t-shirts and they're small, medium, large, extra large. No, it's not one size fits all type of thing. Some can wear a medium, but it's too small, or wear a large and it's too big, and they're stuck somewhere in between. Are there undergarments or under t-shirts tailored for them? No, it's not. It's a standard size, some standard mechanism that they use to define sizes. Anyone who's stuck in between, good for them. In the same way, you could go to, I don't know, you could go to Ross, or you can go to Kohl's, or JC Penney, or anywhere else, and you buy a suit. The suit isn't tailored for you. It's kind of custom made. It's made, general made, and if you want it customized, it's called tailored. And you go to a tailor, you go to, as we say in Urdu, a darzi, in Arabic, a khayat. You go to him and you get your measurements done, and they customize it for you. People take pride in their customized clothing because it shows that they have an ability to do something specifically for themselves. Well, Allah is your tailor, my fellow brothers and sisters and children, and Allah tailors your circumstances for you in a way He deems fit for you. If we fail to still understand that, then we have a lot to catch up with. I don't want to say we are spiritually immature. Mulana Rumi rahimahullah said that, but he has right to say that based on the divine wisdom that he is trying to part to us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open our hearts and the eyes of our hearts, our minds, and our bodies and souls to embrace what is greater than what we understand, what is much bigger than what we can comprehend, which is deeper than where we are in our shallow lives. May Allah allow us to immerse ourselves in His rahmah, in His peace, in His blessings, and most of all, in His decree for us. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah khairan to all of you. We just heard the adhan. Let us make dua together. Allahumma rabba hadhihi ad-da'wati at-tamma was-salati al-qa'ima ati Muhammadan al-wasilata wal-fadila wad-darajata al-'aliyata ar-rafi'a wab'athhu Allahumma maqaman mahmudan alladhi wa'adtahu innaka la tukhlifu al-mi'ad. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our presence here today, this evening. Take care, everybody. Stay well, spiritually, mentally, and physically. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow these sessions and these gems of wisdom to bring us closer to Him and away from our premeditated perceptions. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.